News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Pete Kaliner here, talking about the redistricting ruling that came down in the three-judge panel of Superior Court judges out of Wake County. And joining me now is Alfredo Rodriguez. He is the founder of Dice Communications, based here in Charlotte, and previously worked in Washington, D.C., on several Republican elected official campaigns and organizations and the like. And welcome to the show. Alfredo, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm doing well, absolutely. So first, give us a little bit about yourself, kinds of campaigns and candidates that you have worked for and with.
Well, I've been, fortunate to be doing this for about 2 decades now. Political media consultant, work with Republican candidates and conservative organizations and groups across the country. Have been fortunate to work with a lot of Republicans and groups here in North Carolina as well. So,
all right. So one of the things I should ask, I guess, first before I start going into the ruling here. Did you get a chance to read the 260 pages from the judges?
I did not. I read the Cliff Notes.
There you go. So one of the things they talk about, and I think this probably might be right in your wheelhouse here, is that they talk about how the plaintiffs were arguing essentially for proportional representation to be reflected in the makeup of the maps, right? But the judges said that, look, these statewide races that you're comparing the district races to, they have very little in common. The races don't take into account the individual needs and the issues that are important to all of the different districts. They also treat candidates as inanimate objects in that they do not consider the personality or the qualifications of each candidate or political baggage that they may carry, as well as a host of other considerations that voters use to select a candidate. Also, they assume voters will vote along party lines. These were, in my estimation, I've been saying this for years, the candidates matter, the campaigns matter, and so you can overcome some of this stuff that the plaintiffs are arguing is baked in the cake all the time. You can overcome some of this stuff, can you not? Or maybe am I completely wrong on that?
I completely agree with you, Pete. And, I've said this numerous times. North Carolina redistricting is always a deja vu moment. Democrats and progressive groups in North Carolina and across the country, like groups run by Eric Holder and those folks, they just delight in the moment that they can challenge in the courts constitutionally drawn districts that elected representatives have been given the right to draw. So this is nothing new for North Carolina. It's not something that'll be new 2, 4, 6, maybe even 10 years from now as well. So,
yeah, it's one of the things that's sort of this bit of oxymoron, or I guess conflicting messages seems like, where there's this constant push among people on the left to have historically sweeping, transformative, either policy ideas or lawsuits or rulings. Like everything is like, oh my gosh, this is historic. But at the same time, they also make the arguments that, oh no, this is, the norm. This is what most people already agree with us on all of these things. And it seems like they try to have it both ways. And I think this is another example. There seems to be some bit of performance going on when it comes to this ruling. I'm reading some of the responses, and it's like, they're, look at what the judges said. It was a partisan gerrymander. Aha! It's like, yeah, but you lost because it's not illegal to do that.
Right. And, Republican redistricting gets a lot of attention, but, where is the attention when it comes to the maps that were drawn in Maryland or Illinois or Oregon, that, Democrats, use the same, tactics and, same process to create maps.
Yeah. Well, and also I'm trying to find, I've got here in the stack of show prep that there was an analysis done on, I think it's 538 on where we stand. I'm sure you're here it is. Yeah. 25 states have finished redrawing their maps. analysis from 538 found that compared to the old maps, there are now 6 more Democrat-leaning seats, 1 fewer Republican-leaning seat, and 4 fewer highly competitive seats. So it seems like Democrats are doing what they can, despite having lost seats, right, in California and New York, which makes me wonder maybe Cuomo should not have killed so many people with his COVID policies. But like you've got these states that have lost seats, but they're still obviously able to draw districts that benefit the Democratic Party, and that makes a difference at a national level.
Absolutely. And, let me address real quickly, Democrats are often talking about fair maps and 50-50 maps. And I'm not sure if you're a follower of the Yellowstone series, but
I am.
There's a great line there from John Dutton where he says there's no such thing as fair. Fair is what one side decides and the other can live with.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what the redistricting process is. To the victor go the spoils.
Which seemed like a perfectly legitimate and reasonable and acceptable standard for the last 140 years in North Carolina for some reason. But something happened right around 2010. I'm not sure what. But now all of a sudden, all of those rules that everybody was happy to live with, now they're not so happy to live with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, at the end of the day, Democrats want to force an uncertainty on candidates and voters. The process and the methods were fair. The sooner candidates know the lines, the sooner the people in North Carolina can go ahead and make an informed decision to elect their representatives in the General Assembly and in Congress.
So let me ask you now about Joe Biden and his visit down to Georgia. First off, messaging fail, I think. This seems like in your wheelhouse as well. If you are Stacey Abrams and this is like your big issue, why are you not meeting with the president on his trip to your town on your issue?
Well, I think the very easy answer is I don't think that very many Democrats want to stand side by side with Joe Biden these days.
Yeah.
He has been an epic failure, whether it comes to, the economy, whether it comes to the supply chain crisis, whether it comes to the border crisis that we're suffering, and even on the international stage where our enemies continue to get stronger and dig their heels in against American interests. So, I can certainly understand why she wouldn't want to stand by him and take up this fight with him. But, that's all on the shoulders of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Also, I thought a pretty bold strategy to accuse Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema of being Bull Connor. As that's the preferred approach to get them over onto your "let's blow up the filibuster" campaign. Do you think that'll work?
Yeah, well, and and the hypocrisy with that is, if one Republican votes with a Democrat majority, all of a sudden the legislation happens to be bipartisan. But if one Democrat votes with Republicans, it's considered stalling and ruining what the president's agenda might want to be.
Well, and in fact, it's 2 Democrats, and it could be more. Yeah,
it could be more. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think there are probably some Democrats that are happy Manchin and Sinema are taking the heat, and they would probably object to some of this stuff that's in this this federal takeover of elections, which is what that bill is. And if they're going to try to blow up the filibuster to get it done, but I don't think they actually have a plan to make that work. So what's the point of expending this political capital? Can you make any sense of that?
Well, I think it's nothing short of it energizes their base. It's what their base wants to hear. I don't think at the end of the day that that base is going to be enthusiastic enough to turn out Republicans that are going to come out in droves this coming election cycle.
Yeah. Alfredo Rodriguez, founder of Dice Communications, that's DYCE Communications.com, based here in Charlotte, political consultant. Thanks so much for your time. Good to chat with you, and we'll have you back on.
Pete.
All right, take care, sir.
Pete.
All right, take care, sir.